Hey guys, hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel. It's been a pretty boring week, dare I say, on Football Index. So it's a really great time to have the European competitions back on the screens to trade for on the index. So with that in mind, just thought I'd take you through what I'm calling 6 of the best, my top holds for the European competitions we've got coming up, the Champions League, Europa League and Euro 2021. So first in at number 6, I've gone with Pierre. I mentioned in my previous video that I was just looking into the lower end of the market with a little bit more intent. I think if you look across the entire index really, that lower end, yes, took quite a hammering over the last 6 months with the rest of the index, but for a long time now it's been pretty stable, not really seeing the highs, not really seeing the lows of maybe the premium side. So you can pretty much take a free swing at some dividends with some of these bets. So Højbjerg is one I like. He's had 2 plus 200 scores already this season. Has won a bronze day, very narrowly missed out on match day extra this week. And with Spurs' Europa League fixtures, he's probably going to play 90 minutes in both of those, I'd imagine. And he's got a good chance of competing. He's looking more likely in terms of assists. Obviously, he scored against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. So he's got a really good base, and he looks like he can build on that in terms of goal output as well. A little bit in and out the side with Denmark, so I'm less confident in terms of the Euros. But if he does nail a spot there, Denmark have a fairly navigable group, so he could potentially pick up something there as well. But in terms of the Europa League, Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, 25p looks a really solid bet and a bit of a free swing. So next up, I'm actually going with a goalkeeper, and that is Gianluigi Donnarumma. I think there's a few teams that really stand out when you look at the Europa League draws, the Champions League draw, and the Euros coming up. Italy look pretty strong, pretty soft group that they're in. AC Milan look like a side that could really do some damage in the Europa League, hopefully going pretty deep. And Donnarumma, I think, is a bit of a no-brainer. Could pick him up at around 93p, 21 years of age, out of contract this year, and there's still some ongoing dispute there as well. If that's ongoing into the Euros, might even start to pick up some media on that as well. So yeah, not everybody's cup of tea trading goalkeepers, but I think if you're prepared to sit there, hold, over a long period of time, you're not playing for those major kind of gold day jackpots, but those dividends will add up over time. And that as that pool starts to narrow, as you go deep in the Euros, deep in the Europa League, I think Donnarumma's got a really good chance of picking up some good dividends later on in the season. So next up, I've gone for Yerry Tudjman. Similar to Højbjerg, a little bit higher in price, but still a really nice low price alternative to some of the bigger guns out there. For example, if you look at James Maddison compared to Tielemans, who I think equally has a pretty good chance of challenging for dividends. So if you look at potentially Belgium's chances and Leicester's chances in the Europa League, Tielemans is another one that could go deep into these competitions. And as that competition pool for dividends starts to narrow, it could start to compete. Has a pretty good goals record for Belgium. He scored 5 and assisted 2 and I think 24 appearances, which is pretty solid. And you do forget that he's still only 23 years of age. He's been around for quite a while. So I think he's somebody that potentially has a goal day win in there somewhere, which will be a massive yield and a price of just 63p at the moment you can pick him up for. So Yerry Tudjman, I think, is a really nice alternative to Maddison. You can pick him up reasonably cheap, and he's got a good chance of going deep into European competitions this year. At number 3, staying with Belgium, I'm going with Kevin De Bruyne. You can pick him up around £2.80 at the moment, which looks a really nice price. Obviously, he's coming back from injury at the moment, but looked in imperious form before that. Man City, absolutely red hot at the moment, and I think De Bruyne slots nicely into there for the latter stages of the Champions League. De Bruyne is somebody that he's got the capability to win a lot of dividends in a short space of time. We saw it towards the end of last season in the Champions League, and I think we'll see it again when we start to get into last 16s, quarterfinals, semi-finals potentially. I think Man City will be one of the favourites for the competition this season, and De Bruyne is going to spearhead that if they go deep. As well as that, similarly in the Euros, he's going to compete every game day in that Belgium side. He also takes a big media profile into the Euros with him, and on Belgium match days, he's got the potential to win Gold Day match day, Star Man, Media Day wins. Age profile is a little bit scary now for Kevin De Bruyne, creeping the wrong side of 30. But at £2.80 at the moment, is Kevin De Bruyne going to win 10 Star Mans over the rest of his career? I would say absolutely yes. So £2.80 going into the second half of the season. Kevin De Bruyne in at number 3 for me. So in at number 2, I'm going with Joshua Kimmich. Not much needs to be said really. He's having an absolutely monstrous season on the pitch and in terms of Football Index. He's got a PB average of 190, which is Messi levels. It's absolutely unbelievable. I think he actually put in a 3-4-7 without scoring or assisting, which is just unbelievable. Caveat to that, Germany, pretty tough group in the Euros, and I don't typically like to go near these premium holds that don't have any media profile at all, which Kimmich doesn't at the moment. I think Bayern Munich, it's not a club that players tend to leave. They don't generate too many transfer stories once they're there. So he's just going to dominate in terms of PB and not much of a look in terms of MB, in my opinion. But that said, when you're dominating to the level that he's at, I think he's king of the index actually looking today, which is deserved on the season that he's having. So Germany, pretty tough group, but you'd probably back them just about to squeeze through. And then Kimmich is somebody that can continue to churn out dividends. Again, as I said with Kevin De Bruyne, a lot of dividends in a short space of time as they start to go deep into those competitions. The caveat with that, again, Bayern not quite looking the side they were last season. I think they struggled to come back to a 3-3 draw against a relegation threatened side last night even. So they're not looking quite the same animal. But again, Kimmich wasn't featuring in that performance. So he does look incredible at the moment. There's a lot to like about him. I think Bayern probably still go deep in the Champions League. Germany probably get out of the group in the Euros. And Kimmich is somebody that's going to benefit. And the dividends are just going to glue to him, really, with the game that he's got. So Joshua Kimmich at number 2 for me. And finally, at number 1, I'm going with Phil Foden as my top pick for the European competitions coming up. I think it's just been simmering really over the last year, 18 months. We've seen glimpses of the phenomenal talent that he is. But I think he's just starting to take precedence in that City side now. He's being rotated a little bit less. He's not being pulled off in those big games, which he would have been maybe a year ago. We saw that on the weekend against Liverpool, where scored an absolute phenomenal goal. Won media on the back of that, I believe. And is just really looking a star man in that City team now. A lot of competition in that team. Obviously, I've mentioned Kevin De Bruyne already. He's going to be competing there in terms of his ability to win PB, which doesn't help. But I think going into the Euros with England, again, I mentioned in a previous video about Jack Grealish. I think there's also this story now where Phil Foden is starting to build, and he really could be the main man going into that tournament, depending on how he gets on with City towards the end of the season. But I think if he's potentially leading Man City deep into the Champions League in massive games, scoring bigger and bigger goals, bigger and bigger performances, that narrative's going to follow him into the Euros. He's not a regular starter with England at the moment. He hasn't even, he's not really guaranteed a place in the squad. Obviously, he had the issues with Greenwood when they went away to Iceland. But I think he's a no-brainer for the squad now. And I think that clamour for him to start as well is going to follow him into the tournament, particularly following a good second half of the season with Man City. So I wouldn't want to be Gareth Southgate. I think he's got some huge decisions to make going into that tournament. But Phil Foden, there's going to be a big clamour for him, and he has now the potential, I think, to really take that tournament by the scruff of the neck and be the story coming out of the tournament, which could lead to a big media haul for Phil Foden. So there you have it, guys. 6 of the best for the European competitions coming up later in 2021. Really excited about it. Pretty sick of the Premier League at the moment. Big Spurs fan. We're going nowhere. So delighted to see a bit of European football on the TV. Hopefully Euro 2021 goes ahead. That's another important caveat to put onto this. But fingers crossed we're going in the right direction now. With everything that's going on at the moment in the world. So I hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, please do like and subscribe for more Football Index content coming soon.